Ladies and gentlemen, today, July 20th, 2011, Michael Fazio proves to you that there is an entity that which we perceive to be Satan or Satan-like on the reverse of the $1 bill. Brought to you by the Dildo Burger Prophecies, which was created because there is an abomination in the White House that represents Matthew 25 verse 15 that speaks about an abomination in the White House. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. But before I go there, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to bring the God Pod and the evil seed of death together. That's right. The one being the God Pod with the pyramid in it, and the other being the evil seed of death. Today, I am going to bring those two entities together and fold them in a rather simple fashion. And when I bring the God Pod and the evil seed of death, and or the borders of the God Pod and the evil seed of death together, it forms a picture of Satan. Because at the end of times, and or the time of the ends, somebody interprets the book of Revelation, which I have done to a large degree, and shows you that the pictographs on the reverse of the $1 bill were placed there by something alien in nature, something that could not have possibly been human, certainly not in the year 1934, impossible to do without computers. This entity that has existed on this world for at least 20,000 years has placed a series of pictographs on the reverse of the $1 bill that is a pictography in nature of a series of events from the beginning of recorded history, the Ark of the Covenant, the building of the Great Pyramid, King Solomon's Temple, and the book of Revelation that is occurring today, folks, because I am going to show you a picture of Satan on the reverse of the $1 bill that represents the abomination in the White House or the Antichrist, because for the first time in the history of the world, the Illinois Lotto turned up a 666 the night that Obama was elected. And that, folks, is a sign from an entity that even goes beyond alien in nature. So, here it is, folks, in its entirety. This is a pictograph of the God Pod that you know and I know. I have stated everything inside the God Pod represents life. This purple caricature is a pictograph of the six-winged seraphim. The face immediately below my clipboard facing the numeral 1 is a face of one of the angels' faces of the seraphim. Here is another face of the seraphim facing upwards from my clipboard. Now we're going to move over to the evil seed of death that I have repeatedly said nothing inside the evil seed of death represents anything but death. And the reason for this is because the commander-in-chief, represented as the eagle and the chief, with the stars over his head that are supposed to represent the first 13 colonies, and nothing could be further from the truth. These stars over the eagle's head are a nuclear detonation. These stars over the eagle's head are a nuclear detonation. These stars over the eagle's head is a nuclear detonation. The feathers represent the headdress of an Indian chief. The shield represents the chief or commander-in-chief of America. The bow represents holly. The arrows represents war. But a bow and arrows together represent war. You know that because it's in all my videos. But let's go here. Let's depict this a little bit further. The picture that you see before you is now the seraphim still around the evil seed of death. However, the Indian chief has the war bonnet on the top. The bow is depicted here. The arrows is depicted here. A bow and arrows. An Indian chief. One methodology in which to kill people in the year 1770. This is the Indian chief of war. This is a nuclear detonation. This is a nuclear detonation. This is a nuclear detonation. This is the representation of a nuclear detonation that represents how they are going to annihilate us. And you know I don't care about that so much per se. Now, let's move on to the fact that when you take the evil seed of death and the God pod and you bring them together in this fashion that is on your screen right now, you're going to see where the outside of the seed pods almost touch one another. Right here. They almost touch one another. They are on either side of the plumb bob, almost touching one another. When these two seed pods almost touch one another, you see a little picture of a man-like entity, or a little animal-like entity with a great sword. This is the sword that represents a sword from on high. This is a representation of the abomination in the White House. When these two seals come together, it starts to make a picture of Satan. However, when you bring them together, it makes a perfect picture of Satan. And here is a picture of Satan on the reverse of the $1 bill. When you bring these two seed pods closer together, where there's a small distance between them, you have a picture of a Satan-like entity in the upright position with three sets of eyes. One set of eyes is here, and the horns come up out of his eyes. Another set of eyes is here, with another set of horns coming up from his eyes, and another set of eyes are here, with a third set of horns coming up from his eyes. It looks like he has hands and feet. It looks like he has hands and feet. It looks like he has hands and feet because he does. However, we all know that when you turn the devil's world upside down, you can see the devil for what he truly is, or Satan for what he truly is. And this is a pictograph of Satan's face. This pictograph is real, folks. This isn't something I drew on the back of a piece of cardboard. It's a pictograph of the entity that we perceive to be Satan, to a degree that cannot be discerned as anything other than truthful in nature and real in nature, because, folks, nothing that anyone can say can take away the fact that every person in America has the ability to make this pictograph. And I tell you this because today something is going on inside the White House, and I don't know what it is. Something is going on within Congress. It's probably having to do with this deal that they're supposed to cut that's supposed to help us. It's supposed to help us. They have lost $685 trillion that they don't know where it's gone. And this bill, they're arguing about $4 billion because these politicians are giving you, that's right, folks, they're taking a dildo burger, they're enlarging the dildo burger full size, and they're taking the dildo burger and shoving it in, butt end first. Because nothing that the politicians in this Congress or any other Congress or any Senate have done for the last 50 years has been in the interest of the American people. And now that the God pod and the evil seed of death that represent the beginning of time and the end of time, when you bring them together, because our time here is short, folks, a lot shorter than you think. Shit is going to happen, and happen fast. When you bring these things together, the God pod and the evil seed of death, this is what is portrayed on the reverse of the $1 bill. A perfect picture of Satan. If anybody doubts that what I am saying, you can take your own pictograph and you can see the eyes. One eye, two eyes, the eyes, another face, a whole entire face, another whole entire face. These are pictures that were placed there by an entity or a series of entities or a remnant society that has controlled every aspect of the entire world. And to show you that they have controlled every aspect of the whole world, they created a series of pictographs that coincide with the words in the Bible to a degree that it's not possible to prove me wrong. It's impossible to prove what I say wrong. And I already went into this. No theologian on history, no theologian on earth will show me that I am wrong. No theologian on earth will show me that I am wrong. No theologian on earth, no professor, no college, no entity, no group of people can prove me wrong. And I just proved to you that there's a picture of Satan on the reverse of the $1 bill, or a Satan-like entity, because when the two seed pods are brought together, because time itself is running out for the American people and the people of this world, when those seed pods are brought together, there is a perfect Luciferian figure. And ladies and gentlemen, today's the day that someone's going to find me and grant me a bigger camera.